Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. This is Comics News Today for the January 10th, I believe, of 2022. Time is flying, which is awesome, I guess. But hopefully, this is going to be interesting year, some interesting stuff. It looks to be middling. In the starting here, and we'll see how it develops. But of course, we're here today to talk about comic books and comic book related stuff. I'm a little bit on a little bit fairly tighter schedule today, but that's all right. But hello, Thundero. How are you?
Swell. Swell.
Swell. I'm glad you're swell. You know, we're joined by a rabbit from
I see him.
Nottingham.
You are.
Do
Bunny
I
rabbit.
pronounce that correctly? Nottingham.
Nottingham, yeah.
Nottingham.
I mean,
See,
knots. People call it knots where we are. So.
I know how to speak the Britishes. So there you go, Thundero. I have an advantage. Thundero, we're going to be getting into comic book stuff today. I thought I'd start out because we've been talking about starting off with comic book heroes and things like that. But today I want to do a little bit different. I want to ask each of you, who is your favorite comic book character? Now, of course, it doesn't have to be a superhero. It could be, whatever. What's your favorite comic book hero there, Thundero?
Probably Spider-Man. Individual. Probably Spider-Man.
Okay.
Big fan of Spidey. You see, because when I was in my most developing years for that kind of stuff, that Spider-Man animated series was on, and I just loved it. And also, Spider-Man was at like the peak of his run there in like the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
So it was just great. It was a good time. It was a good time to be a kid.
There's been a lot of good Spider-Man animation actually over the years.
Oh yeah. And I think every's probably too broad, but most young comic book fans, for a while, Spider-Man's their favorite.
At least when they're younger.
There's just something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something about him. He just enraptures you as a young man. And I don't think it's ever went away. And I think this, No Way Home really reinforced it in me that I think Spider-Man is my favorite.
He's got a lot of those good tropes, especially for a young kid, a young person. Rabbit here is not really a fan of Spider-Man. Well, he doesn't really like superheroes. But what is it about Spider-Man that you don't like, though? Particularly Spider-Man, not superheroes.
No, it's like because I loved the animated series when I grew up, when I was a kid. That was great. I just think the movies all suck ass. That's all it is.
Well, so it's the movies you don't like. Oh, well, that's
fair. Yeah. I don't read the comics, so you know that. But the animated series was great. It was like the Batman animated series. That was amazing as well. I love that as well.
That was amazing, yeah.
But the movies, the Tobey Maguire ones, I thought he just sucked. I think Sam Raimi's a good director. The first movie was alright. The second movie was bad, and the third movie with Venom was terrible. But I love the emo Tobey Maguire bit was funny.
That is a horrible take.
That's my. Right?
Everyone has their own take, right? The second guy to play Spider-Man in those movies was a great Spider-Man, but the movies sucked. It was I thought he was perfect as Spider-Man, but he needed better movies.
I get it. It's because you haven't read the comic books. That statement you just made is very wrong.
I don't know. Tobey Maguire just sucks as an
He's
actor.
the best Spider-Man we've had in live action.
Yeah,
as far as the comic book goes.
I agree.
Well, but it's because the guy who played Spider-Man in the second lot of movies, he was more like the animated Spider-Man from the cartoon. Yep. That's why I liked him so much.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Well, that's the question though, guys, because which Spider-Man animated did you watch? Because there have been many, many, many different
the
runs.
80s one?
No, it was the one he's talking about is probably the 90s one.
It might be the 90s one, yeah.
Yeah, the one that had like 6 seasons. That's the one I grew up on too. And he's right. I would say Andrew Garfield is much more like that version of Parker.
Yeah.
But Toby, I would say, even though he has the organic web shooters for some reason, other than that, the way he carries himself as Peter and the way he carries himself as Spider-Man is much more comic accurate.
It's much more.
And we all agree. Yeah. And we all agree that the new guy sucks ass.
Yeah, he does, except for in the new movie. In the new movie, he's great because they got a good director and writer on him. and fixed him.
He was all right. Yeah, he was. He was still my least favorite part of the movie.
Well, yeah, he's the
Well,
worst of the Spider-Men, but
Well,
he's
he's
still
and also,
he's still a lot better
where
than he was.
where the fuck was Venom apart from in the cutscene at the end?
well, that's fair.
That pissed
But I
me off,
mean,
that
he's
did.
also the least capable actor. Tobey Maguire's the best
Yeah,
actor of the three.
I mean,
So
Yeah.
I love the what's his face? I can't remember his real name, but he's a really cool guy in real life.
Andrew Garfield,
No, not Andrew Garfield, the new guy, the new Spider-Man guy.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Yeah.
Tom Holland, yeah. I think he's a really cool guy in real life, but he
Is
just,
he?
I don't know. He seems it from what I've seen. I mean, I
I
don't know.
think he's
I've
a
never
lesbian.
met him,
I'm
but
pretty sure he's a lesbian.
oh, he's English. I know that.
I
Sorry.
have never heard anybody have the take that Spider-Man 2 was a terrible film. What did he call it? Did he call it a terrible film? Something to that effect. I've heard people who like the first one better, but I've never heard anybody say that they.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah, that was that bad. Honestly, I've
The
just
second
never.
one's clearly the best. Yeah.
The third one was the worst one out of all.
by
yeah.
far. It was
Not
a
even
train
close.
wreck, dude.
Yeah.
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 To be fair, it's been a very long time. If I rewatch them now a bit older, maybe I'd have a different opinion.
Yeah. Well, dude,
If you
you're not
rewatch the
American.
first
I haven't
one,
cared enough to rewatch them. You know what I mean?
yes. If you rewatch the first one, it's gonna feel real dated because some of the practical effects don't look that great anymore.
Yeah.
But the second one, to me anyway, it holds up.
It does.
I'll give it another watch. It's the one when he stops the train thing, right?
Yes.
With Webs, is that right?
Yep.
Is it the one with Dr. Octopus?
Yeah, but that's an
Am I
iconic
imagining that?
Spider-Man scene, right?
Yeah, the train stop.
The train stop.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting them backwards. Maybe I thought the first one was bad and the second one was alright. I can't. It's been so seriously. I don't watch superhero movies that often, so I just don't remember. I've watched them all once and that's it. So
Well, the thing is, Rabbit, you're not American. You don't have to like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't hate Spider-Man. I love the animated series, and I've never, I don't read superhero comics. That's just it. I grew up on English comics. I grew up in 2000 AD. There ain't no superheroes in them. They're all violent sociopaths.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
True.
I don't know. Well, I'll go last. Rabbit, who's your favorite comic book character?
If we're going from when I was a kid, it'd be Judge Dredd, hands down.
Sure.
I grew up on Judge
Dredd's
Dredd as a
good.
kid.
Yeah, Judge is Dredd is good though. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, and other than that, it'd be manga, which is Akira was the other thing that was big for me. So I love Tetsuo. So it'd be Judge Dredd and Tetsuo. And that shows you what my childhood heroes were.
Yeah, no,
With
that's
comics.
fine. Akira did come out at the perfect time for you. I was a bit older.
Oh yeah.
But
I've got the first original book of it somewhere.
yeah, I still think Akira is amazing. But when I was a kid, there was no such thing as manga. I'd never even heard the word. I didn't even know the word anime. It was just Japanese cartoons when I was.
Wasn't manga I thought manga was like the distribution of Japanese comics. I thought that's what it was called.
Manga just means comic book in Japanese. It's just.
Is that what it's?
Yeah.
Because you always used to get like the videos used to release. It was like manga, or there was another group, and I just thought it was like a brand put on it.
They were either titling it or they had some word before or after manga. But no, it's just a word, means comic book. That's all. It's an old word actually. It used to be used for ukiyo-e stuff because they started transitioning when the Americans started putting out their kind of penny dreadful type of the American version of the dime novel, the dime store novel, nickel stuff. And they started putting a lot more art started showing up. That's how comics came. They went from the little short story penny dreadfuls, which your culture started, and they just started throwing more and more art in it, and it just became all art, less writing.
That's cool.
That's how it happened. And the Japanese saw this, and they had a tradition of called ukiyo-e over here, which was a printing process. They would cut in wood, and then they put ink on it, and they would make tons and hundreds and thousands of flyers to pass out for their kabuki show or whatever they were advertising. And they took that same concept and started putting together these little one-page sequential type of comic book things, copying they were seeing in the West. And I don't know the etymology. I should probably look it up. But somehow they called this manga ing. We'd probably not put an ing on it. But that's where manga's coming from. It's this transition from the ukiyo-e to the comic. So
Like it.
yeah,
I like it a
That's
lot.
cool.
yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, okay. So Judge Dredd. Now, I don't know a lot of Judge Dredd because I remember when I was a kid, I probably saw Judge Dredd once or twice at my local comic book store. They had like this. Damn it, what was it called? It was a comic book magazine. That
2000 AD.
No, 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 no. It was an
Eh?
American magazine about
Oh, I
comic
see. I see.
books. And they had talked about Judge Dredd and 2000 AD in that. And that's the first time I had seen it. And then I think I actually read a comic someplace in the 90s, and then Stallone happened.
Oh dear God, that was the worst thing that could have ever happened.
But Carl Urban was freaking epic, though. You
Oh,
have to admit
yeah,
that.
that was amazing, and it's a shame they never continued it on because he wanted to, and they just didn't because
Yeah.
I don't know, they didn't make money or it was too cool for people. I'm not really sure what happened with it, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
It's
but
spot on. That's the thing.
I don't think Westerners know Judge Dredd beyond the movies very much, though.
Is that
Thundero,
what it? That's probably what it is. Yeah, I
yeah.
guess.
Have you ever read 2000 AD Thundero?
I think, yeah, a long time ago,
Yeah, see,
but
I
it's
think a
not
long time
anything
ago.
common. Yeah, it's not anything common that I've ever done.
Well, I remember reading one thing, but it got put into like a trade for us. Um, so I really don't think it was 2000 AD. My brain is complaining to me. But it was that I think it's called Miracle Man, that
Hmm.
apocalyptic comic that came out of Britain. Uh, you know what I'm talking about, Rabbit?
No, I've never heard of it. Don't know.
Well, like the entirety of London is absolutely laid waste.
I mean, that's so many things.
Mm. I think that's I think that's probably the extent of my British stuff. Beyond the old classics, of course. I've read the
I can.
Canterbury Tales in several languages.
I've got some 2000 AD stuff. I can send. I've got some like files and stuff. I got like free from the actual official website.
Oh well, no,
I
I
want to
could
read
grab it
any.
if I wanted to. It's not hard to find. But I just talking about our experiences. Americans, we didn't really have
Hmm.
much exposure. See, this is
Yeah, I
one of
didn't
the.
realize. Yeah, I didn't realize that was. But I suppose it's the same with me. Like, I don't really have much in the way of comic, like the American hero stuff. I mean, I had a few people that knew a few people that read Superman and Batman.
Sure.
That was about it. I didn't know. I never even heard of Captain America until I played Marvel vs. Capcom. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. But
X-Men, I'd heard of X-Men, obviously, but
yeah, they were a
again
big
from the
hit.
animated
Chris
series.
Claremont not only saved Marvel with them, but he also kind of brought in the modern Iron Age, I'd call it, that era. But the interesting thing, I mean, every culture has their form of arrogance. I mean, everyone does, right? Culturalism, tribalism, whatever you want to call it. The American arrogance is quite an interesting one because it's an arrogance of ignorance. Well, they don't know. They don't need to know. They don't look out to know something different. So Americans live on assumption. You know what I mean? And I don't know if a lot of Americans are aware of it. Maybe I'm more aware because I've lived outside of America so long. But that's I'd say one of our big negatives. Americans just don't know, and they don't try not to know. You know what I mean? Would you agree with that, Thunder?
Correct. We don't need to know.
Yeah. See, there it is. You see that? That was perfect.
Well, America is one of the only countries in the world that can be completely self-sustaining
It's
and
true.
insular.
It is true.
We literally need nothing from anyone else, except for like opium seeds, like opium. That's
No,
about it.
we could grow that ourselves too if we wanted.
Yeah, we could.
No, what we need is Brazil nuts. That's about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, in all honesty, I think because of that, and because I mean, people just don't quite grasp how massive America is. If if you're an American, you've never driven across this country, I'd recommend at least trying it just a week. Just go from one to as far as you can in a week and then back, and just you'll get a greater appreciation
Oh
for
yeah,
how massive America is.
yeah, that is true.
So
Except for
it
self.
insulates us.
Yeah, it does. And I know a lot of our leaders want to, do literally the opposite of that. But that is very true. It's like the only country on earth that is completely self-sustained. Maybe Russia. Russia wouldn't be as variety rich as we can be, but they can self-sustain. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, that's about
yeah,
it.
Russia can do it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Uh, and especially since America, we have our massive coasts.
yeah,
Sea to shining, sea to real,
yeah.
and we're one of the only countries that does that. That goes between both oceans. Obviously, Canada and Mexico both do too, but that's pretty much it.
Now,
Um,
now that's something I don't get. Canada is, politically a mess, but they are sustainable to a point. But
yeah,
they do live in the ice cold, so I get it. But Mexico, I don't get, because Mexico has coast to coast as well, Atlantic and
yeah.
Pacific. How in the hell are they a shithole? They should be
Me-
rich ass,
Mm.
dude.
I think Mexico actually has more coastline than America does, than the
Maybe
U.S. does, because it's
stretchier. Yeah,
longer, right?
yeah,
And they should be just as wealthy, if not wealthier.
yeah.
But I don't know the answer to
Well,
that question. I just know I don't want them to bring whatever causes their country to stay in perpetual poverty to mine.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Please keep it there.
I
They
know
can
the
keep
answer,
bringing
but
their
they'd
food.
call me racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Rabbit. What were you saying?
I was just saying they can keep bringing their food over there. I love Mexican food.
I'm okay with it. I think it's
I like Mexican
of the
food. Yeah,
peasant
it's good stuff.
foods, which
Oh,
Mexican food is
oh,
a peasant food.
oh.
Um, American peasant food is far superior than
They
anywhere
do
else.
the
And I've been
hot
all over
plate.
the world and eaten the peasant food in pretty much in most cultures except for like far Asians and Indians. Uh,
I just love the spiciness.
Well,
American, yeah,
yeah,
but
no, me
you can
too.
get that with American
Well,
food too.
peasant
Oh
food
yeah,
is
you
the
can. Of
best
course you
food, though.
can.
Let's be fair.
Oh, it's by far the best
Yeah.
food. Burgers, ain't nothing better than a good
Yeah.
burger.
Yeah,
Nothing
I
on
do
this
love me
earth.
some
I
taco
prefer a
food.
big steak. A big
Ah,
Oh
steak
my
steak.
god.
too?
Oh my
That's
god.
not
Yeah.
peasant
You can
food.
get
No.
steak anywhere in the world, man. I mean, like beef steak.
I wouldn't
just
call a steak a
ribeye steak.
peasant food, but yeah,
Well,
Well, it's not that expensive. Depends what cut you get, I suppose.
it is now.
Well,
Shit.
the inception of this part of the conversation is coming from sustainability, and Britain here with Rabbit is very interesting because you are the literal opposite of America, where Britain is a perfect example of efficiently run import-based economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they don't destroy it, fucking government.
Well,
We're
no,
working
you
on
guys
it.
have done a good job for a
Yeah,
long
they
ass time,
do.
dude.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I mean, we used to own half the world, so I suppose we're not as good.
It was
Right.
only a quarter.
As
Greedy.
we're stuck. It's quite crazy when you think how small England is.
And
Like
Yeah,
you're on
but
about how
conquered.
big America is.
but the
Like you
drive for
can
that.
drive from one.
Well, see, the imperial drive for that was because you're a little island nation that needs all that importation. You need it. That's what drove you to imperialism. America, the
Mhm.
reason why American is not imperialistic is because we have no need for it. There's no
Yeah.
Well, we're
drive.
Well,
not
I mean, yeah, you've
in the
got a lot of
traditional
everything
sense
in it,
anyway.
don't you?
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, Spider-Man, Judge Dredd, very good choices. Of course, I grew up loving Spider-Man when I was a kid too, and I really think it
Yeah.
is the perfect comic book for a kid.
Yep.
But
Not anymore. Now there's sex every other page. It's
well,
ridiculous.
it's they're dead. Marvel's dead. But my wife just says Moe, which means that it's enough, right? But I,
Uh,
I want to say Moon Knight because I do love Moon Knight, but the answer is actually Wolverine.
yeah, he's number 2 for me.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth. You ask me next week, I might say Wolverine. I love Wolverine. I love Wolverine and Spider-Man. I like them together. I like them apart.
Yeah.
I like them on their own. I like them with other people. They're
Oh,
great characters.
They're great. Wolverine and Spider-Man team-ups are the best, dude.
They are
Because
great. They're
their
just a good
attitudes
time.
clash so beautifully, right?
Yep.
I do like Wolverine. He's
He
a
is cool, dude.
badass.
Well, and he's also because he's kind of an X-Men. he's not that traditional, even though he does wear tights, he's not that traditional superhero, right?
He's not a cape.
He's not a
Yeah.
No,
cape, yeah.
he's not quite an anti-hero, but is like verging on the edge of anti-hero and hero, isn't he?
Trying to trigger
He's
me with
like
that term,
right
isn't
there.
He is, yeah.
Anti-hero. He's like the Punisher, but not quite.
Rabbit, there's no such thing as an anti-hero. That's liberal made-up bullshit. There's heroes and villains. Some heroes are just more violent, but they're still heroes.
Yeah, that's right.
Frank Castle is still a hero, even though
You
he's
know
brutal.
what I mean when I say anti-hero, regardless, though.
Augustus is one of the greatest leaders in the history of man, and he killed millions.
Yes.
I mean,
Probably the greatest, in fact. He's up there.
So the Punisher's a hero, then? He's just a violent hero.
He is.
Okay,
He is a hero.
I'll be fine.
That's
So
right.
Vegeta is also a hero, then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he has a hero's journey.
Yeah, it's the hero.
I
He's
suppose he
now
does.
that's a perfect example of the hero's journey, because he went
Yeah.
from being basically a conflicted bad guy.
Oh, he was
to
a villain. He
good
blew
guy.
planets up and destroyed genocided planets.
He did. Yeah, but I mean that's a good example. Now Matthew here is trying to give us an explanation why Mexican sucks ass.
Why Mexico is
Let me
poor.
see here. Mexico is poor because of poor fiscal management. The government's trash fire that steals from the people, and then the people hire a new set of thieves every few years. Yeah, those thieves that keep getting elected or just simply take the positions, they're called cartel members, Matthew.
Yeah. Or they're in lead with the cartels.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking, but in all seriousness, I feel bad for the Mexican people. I do.
I do too.
Because they are slaves, dude. They're imprisoned. They're these evil men that rule Mexico, and they've done it for a very long time, are brutal and murderous. And
Yeah.
it would be great if the Mexican people could become free, because the truth about the Mexican people is they're very hardworking, sincere, conservative Christian people. I mean, that's what they
Honest.
are. Honest people.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve that shit.
No.
But,
But
interestingly,
unfortunately, as
Yeah,
much as I sympathize with them, the only people who can fix it is them. I mean,
that's true.
America could come fix it for them, but they don't want
Well,
that.
no,
They
America won't, though, because that's the point I was going to make, Thundera. America will go in all these countries and do all this shit, like we're liberating them, but we don't do anything to help Mexico, right? And the reason
Right.
is because those frickin' politicians in America are making money off the back of it. That's why.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, no, if I could clean up the American political class and get a proper government in there and just do the things that need done. One of the things that needs done is Mexico needs liberated from the cartels, from the grip of the cartels. We could do it very quickly, very easily if we went in there and just did it. And we would do it with very minimal collateral damage. But there's no political will for it, and that's a shame because I think we're being bad neighbors, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think it would be better for us if Mexico was free and wealthy, because one, it would stop a lot of illegal immigration, which, to be fair, a lot of it doesn't come from Mexico anymore because they have gotten wealthier. But it would help. It'd be much better to have an actual vassal state, basically, of Mexico, not just a functional one, than what we have now.
I think we need a ninja that frickin' Trudeau, too.
Oh, well, yeah, Canada would have to be annexed. Come here, Canada.
Let's just annex
Come
that.
here, come here, big cousin. Come here.
Well, the only reason we don't have Canada is because of that dumbass Benedict Arnold, and he couldn't freaking get his job done, bastard.
True.
Anyway, sorry. Anyway, Frank says, Matthew says, Frank Castle is definitely not a hero. Well, by definition, a hero is someone who puts their life on the line to protect others.
Right.
I have to question. So the definition of an anti-hero, obviously, so why do you not agree with anti-hero as a thing? Because I mean, you know what it means, I guess.
It doesn't mean anything.
Always
an anti-hero would be villain.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No,
Correct.
I get that.
It's a language issue, dude.
But people but you know what it means. People associate it with. You know what I mean?
A dark hero would be a better choice.
Yeah, it's like a dick.
Dark angel
guy.
Yeah.
He's not a hero.
No, that's exactly it.
It's definitely not a hero. He's just some guy doing some shit, and he's a.
It's a semantic thing. Well, no, he takes out bad guys. That's really all you need.
He protects
because here's why. Here's why anti-hero exists, because you just answered your own question. Anti-hero, the term only exists because we put morality into the hero. Heroes are not moral actors; they are actors of courage.
That's right.
That's why.
I suppose because people always see, like, say, Goku or Superman, they're heroes.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
Superman's fault. It is
Like,
Superman's fault.
yeah,
It's
that's
Superman's fault,
why. Like, and then
Yes.
you've got villains. You've got like really evil, like horrible people, like doing
Right.
horrible things. And then you've got the people in the middle, which I suppose is what they just coined the phrase for, I guess.
When we as a species conceptualized heroes originally in all the ancient cultures, they usually weren't good people. Not morally,
No,
anyway.
definitely
They did
not.
terrible shit. But they were courageous, they were strong, and they typically toppled much more evil things. Whatever those would be, a monster or a god or whatever, right? They fought the greater evil.
Yeah.
So Frank Castle, in that regard, is absolutely a hero because he's strong and courageous, and he attacks people who are far more evil than him.
True, but he's no Superman in the whole like.
But he's no
Superman. How we
Superman.
see heroes nowadays, which is all like the perfect person.
But I think we need to in a sense reclaim the heroism. What heroism is. Heroism is not morality. Morality is different. You can be a moral person and not be heroic, but you cannot be heroic and be weak or without courage.
I agree with you, although semantically, right?
Yes.
Because
it's a semantic argument.
It
absolutely.
Because if you look at one of America, and you could make an argument, the identical argument which Winston Churchill rabbit, the greatest American hero is George Washington, right? Most people would say that, and yeah, he was. He did a lot of heroic things. He was extremely heroic. He was also an absolute bastard.
Yep.
I mean,
and he was fine with it too.
He was not
he
a
knew
good
who he
man,
was.
Right?
He knew exactly who he was.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, and it even kind of falls into the Trump thing. I mean, he's an ass. He's an absolute ass, but he's heroic at the same time.
Trump is not anybody I would put up for as a role model for a young man. Like, yeah, he makes a lot of money and stuff. That's great for him. But when it comes to having personal integrity, he doesn't. Like, it's very clear he doesn't. He's had so many wives because he keeps cheating on them.
Yeah. It's true.
That kind of stuff. You can't say, so that's why in like the sense of you're using the term hero, you couldn't really call Trump that because he has these grave moral failings. But in the traditional sense of the word hero, absolutely. Because he put his reputation and everything on the line for very little gain from what I can see. Maybe he did gain a lot of stuff and we just don't see it. I don't know. But from what I can see, he didn't gain much from it except for a hell of a lot of grief.
No,
and he got to be president for a while.
Off. He was like, "Screw this! If no one else is going to do it, I'm going to do it." I think that's what
intention is far less important than result. So one of the reasons, everybody knows Hercules, whatever you want to call him, he's considered one of the greatest. He was considered the greatest Greek hero. Mm-hmm. His intentions were not pure at first. Through the course of his labors and his stuff and this and that, he becomes much more pure.
Sure.
And different interpretations have him with more pure intentions.
And becomes immortalized because of it.
The hero's journey is not just overcoming darkness; it's overcoming internal darkness too. Yeah. Failures.
Matthew, you should come on to the show with us here. Just join on the Discord and come in and have a chat with us, man. But you should just talk to us about it. I don't agree. I've read a lot of Punisher comic books, and he's always protecting the weak. Like,
I'd love to know what you think of Judge Dredd then, because he kills everybody. Yeah, but he's killed innocent people as well.
Yep.
But he's also a hero.
He's I wouldn't say he's a hero, more of he's just doing a job.
Yeah, no, I think the concept of what hero is just different between us. I understand, because I understand what Thundera was saying 100%. And thank you, Eric. It took long enough. Damn it. I laid that out, so that was such an easy, that was a lollipop pitch, and nobody bit. I was so disappointed.
Nope. You ain't getting me with your bait, Chester. How dare you?
Anyway, fun conversation though. Let's get into today's stories though. Are you guys ready?
Do it. Yep.
All right, here. So, oh goodness gracious, we're going to start out with a British thing today because we have ourselves a rabbit here,
A British
and
man.
yes, a British man, and something because I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from New England, but when I grew up,
I don't watch Doctor Who at all.
well, no, but when I grew up, rabbit, I actually saw a lot of BBC stuff, and a lot of
Yeah,
Americans
I've
I've talked to didn't.
Yeah, me
oh,
So,
too.
really, I've talked to quite a few American people I know have seen more BBC
well,
stuff than I have.
yeah, but from the 70s.
Oh, no, I guess not. But I mean, I
Yeah,
wasn't there live then.
I mean, but I'm just saying that I've had, and Doctor Who is one of the things I've been watching since I was a little kid, dude. And
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah,
real
they've
shame
I
destroyed it.
what they've done
I
with it.
have
Destroyed it.
But
friends that have watched it, and I've never watched Doctor. Even as a kid, I never got because it's too sci-fi for me. It's like Star Trek. I'm not interested in it.
well, it's perfect
Um,
camp sci-fi. It's beautiful.
yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people love it, and a lot of people hate what they did with it. Everyone really loved the I forgot the fucking name. Yeah, the Scottish guy.
David Tennant.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
loved him,
Oh,
but
he was
he's
great.
great in everything.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people love. Was it Matt Smith who did it after him? And I didn't really watch it, but as soon as no one had a problem with a female doctor, it was just she was shit.
Well,
From
it's
everything I heard.
quirky, it's awkward, it's campy, it's a lot of fun. And the reason why she sucked, well, first of all, you don't need a female doctor. That's dumb. It's just stupid. All right.
But
Yeah.
it's always
But
been a man. It's always been
it
an older
always
man,
has
right?
been. It's
Hasn't
just
it?
dumb.
If I remember right,
But
with a
the
big scarf and stuff.
That's right, and he was amazing, that guy you're talking about. But the thing
Yeah,
is,
Tom
this
Baker.
wasn't. I just said what Doctor is, right? It's campy, fun, tongue in cheek. That's what it is. It's this goofy, fun, awkward British thing, and it's wonderful, right? It falls in the similar vein of, like, say, Monty Python, where that's more uproarious in its humor. This is more subtle, but it falls into that same campy camp of British style. And the changing the Doctor to a female was, of course, we know was politically done, but it's just
Mhm.
mean spirited what they did. It's
Yeah.
mean spirited, and that's the
Intentional.
real issue. But read this fucking headline.
Female POC Doctor Who. First of all, hang on. It's not Doctor Who, it's Doctor. Doctor Who is the name of the show. The character's name is the Doctor. The
Yes,
character's name is not Doctor Who.
it's
That is
Doctor
stupid.
because he doesn't have a
Stop it.
name. Yeah.
Even I know that, and I don't watch
Even
it.
okay. Now that aside, female POC Doctor rumored to replace Jodie Whittaker amid disastrous ratings. So they're like, listen, we're going over the cliff. We're gonna warp speed this bitch right into that rock.
That's what they're doing, yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're like,
That's funny. You know what's funny though, right? They're doing this, but did you? I don't know if you've seen it, but they just did the Around the World in 80 Days with David Tennant, and that was really good. You know? So now they're
course,
doing
David
this.
Tennant's in it.
Why are they doing this? Yeah, but what I mean, that was like proper, good actors.
I don't know.
Like,
I genuinely don't know why they hate the Doctor so much. Why they hate this
it's like they're trying
series?
to change it.
Because I do
watch it,
know.
but-
Actually, I do know. Because it was a white male lead for so long, and they have made him in their mind a symbol of patriarchy, so he has to be destroyed. So they've done that.
Yes, okay, I see.
The last what was his name? Oh, the last guy that was just the
he
Doctor
was
before.
useless. They were just using him as a tool to set this
Yes.
shit up. Yeah.
They destroyed his character. He was a complete and total simp, and he was just a feckless jellyfish, or just like very anti-Doctor, very abrasive. Like, not abrasive in a charming way, just a prick. And it wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't fun to watch anymore. It wasn't fun to watch him be a cuck. It wasn't fun to watch him spew leftist propaganda right out of his fucking mouth. Like, it just wasn't fun. It wasn't entertaining, and my wife and I both just gave up on it.
Yeah.
And then when they announced that they were going to have a female Doctor, she said, "Oh, I'm not watching that. The Doctor's a man. I don't want to see that."
Yeah.
Boom. And I was like, I agree. I don't
mean-
want to watch it either.
I don't watch it, and even I know there's been a guy forever. So I mean, there's
Yeah.
a theme in the story. It's not a sexist thing. It's just that's the character.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
he has-
it's political.
It's just fucking
It's
stupid.
political.
Yeah,
But
it's just a
BBC's
stupid change
BBC's
for
gotta be
political
like the woke
points.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the worst part about our TV in this country is the BBC. So
Oh no, it is horrible, and I feel for you. But the thing with it is another aspect for those who aren't real Whovians. Uh, is the fact that the Doctor is a non-sexual being anyway.
Yeah, he's basically
it's
asexual.
Yeah, there is no sexuality to the Doctor whatsoever. Now they do
Right.
put some eye candy in there next to him, which I appreciate. I appreciate it.
it was just some hot chick next to him, right?
Yeah,
Is that
but
the deal?
that's true. Yes,
Usually.
that's for the
Yeah.
boys. But the Doctor himself has no sexuality whatsoever. It's not what or who he is. He's a complete intellectual, and he's quirky and odd and goofy, and it's wonderful. Yeah, anybody for a jelly baby? Anybody?
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And the gender bending of the Doctor was done intentionally. It was implanted into the show. People pretend like because it was mentioned one time, like 30 years ago, that one of the Time Lords accidentally changed their gender when they regenerated. It was a fluke, right? It was one of these things that it was. And now in the lore, it's they can just do it whenever they want. It's not a big deal. Nobody cares. That was never the rule. It was never the lore. It was just one of those fluke things and that happened like one time. And then now they've made it to where it's a common thing that they do all the time. They've also made it so that the Doctor was the first. It isn't even a Time Lord. He's not even Gallifreyan. He's from another universe, and his first incarnation was a young girl, and he can regenerate. And because he can regenerate, some other person did experiments on him, figured out regeneration, and that's why the Time Lords can regenerate. That's literally the lore now. So the numbering, all of that doesn't matter. They got rid of all of that because there's been hundreds, if not thousands, of iterations of the Doctor, quote unquote, and they just completely killed 50 years, 60, almost 60 years of lore in this show. Just killed it.
They alienated everybody who loved it, and now no one watches it. It's basically
for nothing. There's nothing gained by doing that. What's gained by doing that?
Money.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, this did the same with Star Wars. It's exactly the same. They're all doing it, and they're all ruining their franchises.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do need to interject here grammatically. Matthew, the word semantics actually means to the science of seeing is what the etymology of the word is. But of course, we use the word semantics today to mean logical meaning, right? And my statement of semantically, I agree with him, meaning that emotionally, I don't, and emotions are not logical.
Correct.
Sorry, I had a point of order.
Semantic. It's not logical, you fucking Vulcan.
His autism. He couldn't help himself.
I've been sitting here freaking graining, dude. I apologize.
No, I would give anything to be able to go back to Matt Smith, because this really all started right at the end of Matt Smith's run. They started to really like make him almost second fiddle in his own show.
Yeah.
To that frickin' Jenna girl, or Clara was her name in the show, and it turned me off hard. Like I was just like, I'm not into this. This is stupid. Nobody wants to watch this. My wife didn't like it either, and we were big time into Doctor Who for a minute there. We really loved it. We looked forward to when it would come out and stuff. We watched all the specials, everything.
It's so
we tried to go.
Honest, right?
We tried to go to the theater and watch it when they released the 50th, but it was sold out around here, and we didn't get a chance to go see it. Because they only showed it for like 2 days in the theater, and that kind of stuff. And it's a shame what they've done to it, and it was malice. It wasn't out of anything other than malice.
Yeah.
And it comes through in every other line of the show, it feels like, and it's just, it's unwatchable. I know people who made their whole identity around this show who've abandoned it because it's just unwatchable.
It's a shame. It's kind of like fucking with Winnie the Pooh, dude.
Yes.
I mean, because this is wholesome. The Doctor is wholesome. I mean, super wholesome. It's one of the most mean-spirited things I've seen here of all this woke attack on modern culture or on man culture. To be fair, Doctor Who, I guess is more male-leaning, I suppose.
I don't know.
But a lot of ladies
the people
like
that
it.
I know that look, my friends that love it the most are female.
Yeah,
they're the ones who've always watched it, and they hate the new stuff. So
yeah, well,
it's a show that
it is dead though. So David Tennant was the last Doctor. Let's just leave with that. And in canon, he was the 10th Doctor. Therefore, he
Yeah.
would be the last because they
The
only had 10 regenerations.
well, they have 12, but he had
Or
2 cheat regenerations, so he would be either the last or the second to the last, depending on what they consider canon. But
is it 12?
But yeah, it's 12. But we did get the 50th anniversary special. That to me is a perfect. If you're a Doctor Who fan of the old stuff, that can be, for me, that's my canon ending to the whole show right there, because it's really good. It's solid. It's a love letter to 50 years of this show, and I was very I was like a little kid watching it. I loved it. And if they never, and since everything after that has been just awful. As far as I'm concerned, that's where it ended. They gave me the 50th anniversary was good enough for me. Now the old showrunner, David Tennant showrunner, is supposed to be taking it back over, going forward after this moron leaves.
They said, yeah.
So we'll see if he fixes it. The only way to do that is he has to completely undo this nonsense about the Doctor being not a Time Lord, and that has to all go away somehow. You have to magic wand that away and get us back to the Doctor being the Doctor.
Well,
because
how you do it. This is how you do it. You find your new dude that's going to be the Doctor. You get David Tennant back in. Find out that he's been in some kind of cryogenic chamber for a while, and he comes out and he dies during that episode, and we get a new Doctor. That's how you do it. Simple. It's really simple, actually.
Good.
But I think I think they burned it down though. I don't know if they can save it.
Yeah, I don't think it can be saved. I'll be honest with you. I'm not interested. They would. I'd have to hear from very trustworthy people that it 100% is like Doctor Who's back and it's great. But I just don't. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's doomed for cancellation, unfortunately.
Well, I actually have the Doctor Who CCG.
Nice.
I do. Yeah, I remember that came out a long time ago, and it's a fun little. It's Magic-esque, of course. Everything was though. Once Magic the Gathering came out, the world exploded with people trying to copy it. Right? It's insane. But what was his name? Garfield. It was Garfield, the guy that created Magic the Gathering, King of Tokyo. Yeah, I think his name's Garfield.
Tokyo.
But he that dude. He's iconic now. Anyway, let's move on. Dumbass. That's all we need. Dumbasses. All right, fine.
Just dumb. Ben Affleck hints he is done with Batman after The Flash and recalls awful experience on Justice League. I defended what's his name? Who did Justice League?
Joss
Snyder. Well, Joss too, and Snyder.
No,
but I defended Whedon. Both of them to a certain degree when the rumors about how terrible it was to work with them came out, but especially Whedon. But at this point, I'm at the point of I just think he's just a terrible human being. I've thought that for years about Mr. Whedon, so it's not surprising that he was a terrible boss. And these people, even like Affleck. Affleck's been around a long time, so if he was having terrible experiences with him, I would think they're probably legitimate grievances. Just because he's a veteran, and maybe he has complained about other stuff like that in the past, but I've never seen it. There's never been a buzz about it, to my knowledge. So
normally comes across as a really cool guy, generally.
Yeah, he just comes across as a relaxed, kind of easy to get along with dude. But
you talk about the trash human and trash actor that is Ben Affleck?
Yes.
I like Ben Affleck, man. He's been in some cool shit.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying he's the best actor in the world, but he's been in some cool shit.
He's a trash human, dude.
Yes. But he seems like a trash human that would be easy to get along with.
Fair enough. And there are a lot of trash humans, to be fair.
I
watched that. Did you watch that? The Duel with him and Matt Damon in? That was really good.
Dogma?
The Knights. Is it called The Duel? I think it's called The Duel. I watched
The Duel.
It came out really fucking good movie.
A couple months ago, and I think it bombed. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a really good film. I really enjoyed it. It's on a true story. Good movie. Affleck, Matt Damon.
Yeah, no, he's complaining. It seems that his complaints are about Whedon mainly.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're basically Whedon's a piece of shit and should have never gone anywhere near the movie.
Yeah.
We know because I mean I know Fundera hates Snyder stuff. I think was it.
Yeah.
I think it was you.
Yes.
I loved it. I mean, obviously it's my cup of tea. You know, it's dark, it's violent, it's fucking great. That's what DC should be. It's dark. Batman specifically, and what he was trying to do was bring that whole like when the world collapses, that whole like Justice League dark stuff, and it was really good. I thought it was great, but they're on about rebooting it anyway. So well, I'll not watch it. So fuck them. Anything they're gonna do now was like the Flash movie. The only reason I'm gonna watch that is because Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are gonna be in it as Batman. That's the only reason I'm gonna watch it.
very happy that Zack Snyder is away from DC stuff. Hopefully that stays.
I'm very sad that he is, because whoever's going to do it next is going to do a fucking Marvel bullshit.
Well, you say that, but then you look at these trailers for this new Batman movie, and they look amazing. Now, I don't know if the movie's going to be good, but they look amazing.
Action-wise, cinematically, they look all right. I don't like the Batman outfit. I think the head looks a bit stupid, and the Riddler looks ridiculous. But I'll hold judgment until I watch it.
He's the Riddler, though, so I'm not expecting him to look great.
He looks more like what's his face when the Riddler goes to that other character. What's he called? The other character becomes. He looks more like that character as opposed to the Riddler.
I think that's where they're going. I think that's what.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. But I mean, isn't that when he's older? I'm sure that's when the Riddler's older. And stuff.
Well, it could be. I mean, it could be. We don't really know. We really don't know yet what's going to happen. I actually, but the trailers I've seen. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty good. I think Reeves is a pretty good director. I know that Pretty Boy is, he's Pretty Boy, but he's a good actor. Yeah, he just is a prima donna.
He's a prima donna. That's the problem.
I don't hold out much hope for him, but it doesn't mean it's going to.
Yeah, Hush.
I mean, that's the thing. I have to watch it.
Yeah, no.
That's the thing. I give everything the benefit of that. I'll watch it once and go, I enjoyed it. Even if I think it looks shit, I'll watch it and I enjoy it. I'll say I enjoyed it.
It's supposed to be a take on basically like Batman Year One, I think. So he's still a rookie at it,
though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's not. I don't think they're doing the origin. I think they're just he's going to already be Batman, but he's only been doing it for a little while.
All right.
So I think that's why he still has some like rough looking at like the Batmobile is basically just a car,
so
and his suit doesn't look like great.
It technically would be like if you followed on the Gotham TV series into Batman. From there,
pretty much, yeah, kind of that narrative, yeah.
Well, the thing though, it really comes down to.
I suppose that's not been done.
It really comes down to how well Reeves can handle prima donnas, and it seems like he can handle them well, because he's been bitching a lot about Pattinson, a lot of bitching. And this kid won't do what he's told. He doesn't show up on time. He doesn't get in shape. He's a lot of whining about Pattinson from Reeves.
Bitch slap him and fire him. Get someone else, and there's so many other actors.
Well, I mean but that's what it comes down to, because most actors, there's a few exceptions, but most actors need a great director. And if they don't, they suck. Like Ben Kingsley is a perfect example. That dude, if he has a good director, he can pull off Oscar-winning performances. If he doesn't, he is literally C-grade movie actor.
Yeah, drizzling shit.
Whereas you've got other actors which are, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think Reeves is going to surprise people with this movie. I don't know why. And I've said this from day one. The first time I saw anything out of this movie, I said I have a feeling this is going to be really good. And Batman's track record in cinema is pretty good. He's one of the only superheroes that they consistently get at least good, right? Maybe they've had a couple that are like
good. That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. But that whole trilogy,
Christian Bale good, but we'll see.
That whole trilogy is really good. The Dark Knight's, the masterpiece of it. But the whole trilogy's pretty good. The third movie's kind of a mess, but it's not terrible. Yeah. It's watchable.
But that's only because Ledger died. That's the only reason that ended up falling apart in the end. I
think you're correct. Yeah. But aside from the two in the mid '90s. Batman movies are typically good. The first two Michael Keaton ones are really good.
Yeah. Tim Burton did a good job with them. We don't speak of the others.
Yes, the others are good in a different way, but not in a way that
stupid ideas.
Val Kilmer is awesome as Batman.
Val Kilmer's not terrible.
Dude. I love Val Kilmer, but the movie was terrible.
The movie was terrible, yeah. But yeah, Batman movies have a statistical advantage over basically every superhero except
Is it just
Blade.
because Batman's so cool? Yeah, Blade, dude.
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes was the
the
ultimate
first
Blade.
two Blade movies are amazing. The third one,
Yeah, they are.
you
Yeah,
can forget
but
about
that's
that
the
one.
way it can go, right? Because you've done too many at that point, I
Well,
guess. But
But
yeah, the
so
first two were fantastic.
we'll
you know
see what
the
happens
thing.
with Batman here. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens, but I think it's
Well,
going to be
there's a
good.
new Blade coming out, isn't there?
there
Apparently,
is, and I'm
we've got
looking
that.
forward to it.
I'm
Speaking of
hesitant because it's not Wesley Snipes, but it might be
right,
good.
but this guy is a really good actor, though.
But does he
I'm
have the charisma of Snipes?
Yeah.
That's the
Well, we'll have
actor.
to see. But the speaking of Blade 3, I actually
Mhm.
watched it recently. I know, don't yell at me. I watched it recently because I was like, was it really that bad? Dude, it was.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And Ryan
It's
Reynolds was in
terrible.
it. Is Ryan Reynolds?
He's
Yeah, he was
annoying
just
as
Ryan Reynolds.
shit in it, dude, Ryan Reynolds. It's
Yeah,
so bad. It's so
yeah.
ridiculously bad, dude. Um,
It had good intentions, I think, but they just bad
well, they all
director,
have
bad
good
writer, bad
intentions.
something.
Yeah.
It's just something went wrong with it.
But
Idea was good, but
well, what went
badly
wrong
done.
was Wesley Snipe was the ultra prima donna at that point in his life. He thought his shit didn't stink, and he was nothing but a pain in the ass. That's what went wrong. And they were constantly trying to work around him and whatever. But let's move on here. I'm only in my second story. Damn. All right, here we go.
What
Executive
happens when you invite
producer,
drunk English people on?
executive producer Ava DuVernay confirms the CW's Naomi will emphasize identity. Nobody cares. This
Nobody
show
cares.
is going to
I don't
pull
even know
in
what this is.
maybe 300,000 viewers. Nobody even knows who this character is. Nobody's ever heard of her. Nobody bought her book.
She has
I
no
don't even know.
successes, by the way.
Is this supposed to be a comic thing?
It is.
Yeah, she's a comic character that just
From
recently came
what?
out in like 2019.
Brand new
Naomi.
creation of
Yeah.
political correctness.
So basically, it's bullshit.
It's shit, yeah. But keep in mind,
Okay.
Ava DuVernay has not had any successful anything. She's
No.
never been successful. I don't know why they keep throwing it in her face. Well, I guess I know why.
Keeps failing upwards.
She's failing upwards. But I put this in here not
At least
because the easiest thing is, yeah, dumb, no one's going to watch it, move on. And yes, I am, but I want to read this because, boy, daddy. All right. CW's upcoming superhero series Naomi, based on the miniseries created by Brian Michael fucking Bendis and David F. Walker, will emphasize identity politics. Confirms the show's executive producer Ava DuVernay.
You've already ruined it right there with that first fucking paragraph.
Thank you. DuVernay, who is infamous for threatening to discriminate against white men, recently talked about the show at Television Critics Association, as reported by Deadline. Here we go. It's not about representation. It's about normalization. Oh, propaganda, I guess. She said. We're doing really muscular things that relates to race and gender and class, but we're doing it by playing it normal, like it's just part of the everyday. Well, you should be doing that.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. She elaborates by saying, I say it kiddingly, but it's real. The more you can portray images without underlining or highlighting them and putting a star next to them, well, where's your star? By showing a different type of hero that centers a girl, a black girl, that centers different kinds of folks, we start to make that normal, and that's a radical and revolutionary thing. No, it's not.
Because that's never been done before.
No, never done.
No, it never was done in the 70s and the 80s. It didn't
No,
happen.
absolutely not. Yeah, Jackie Brown's never been a thing. But anyway, this is the mindset of this moron. Muscular things, indeed.
What the fuck is that kind of say? Who writes that in a fucking sentence?
Well, she spoke it. It came out of her mouth.
Jesus Christ.
Well, first of all, we have nearing 2 decades of female-led everything. If you go back and you count all the TV shows and movies and look whether there's a male lead or a female lead, I guarantee you 60+% of it is female led. And it's probably higher.
I grew up on horror movies and they're all female leads.
Of course, the final girl. That's right.
Yeah, all of them.
So, that in and of itself is ridiculous. And the fact of her being black or yellow or red, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter what the color
That's right, yeah. Take her skin off. No one cares.
Make her green. Who gives a fuck? Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's terrible. This whole character's dumb. Like I said, it's one of those. It didn't sell. It's not going to sell in television form. Like, first of all, it's a superhero show about a girl named Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said this last night.
Even.
Yeah, it's terrible. That's not. How are you supposed to market that? That's not a superhero. One of the reasons why superheroes work internationally, all over the world, is because they don't have just regular names. Right? They're Superman, they're Spider-Man, they're Batman. They have names that are more like title. Well, they are titles, and you can either translate or usually you don't even have to because there isn't really a direct translation that works anyway, and it's easier to brand as just a character if it has a non-personal name like that. Great example, Chester, that movie you said to watch, that Indian superhero movie. I watched it today. It's pretty good.
It's
pretty good.
It's heartwarming, isn't it? It's cute.
And in that movie, they use Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman. They use those exact names to reference superheroes from America that this guy mimics, basically.
Yeah, there's even a Superman comic cover being burned in it,
Yes.
poetically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is not something that makes sense to do with somebody named Naomi. It just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Well, and that's a good example. His name is not Minal Murai. That's not his name. That's his superhero name. We don't get it because we don't speak that language. But I mean, you do need these kind of. And I've heard Indian people is probably a cool name. But let me read this here because this is the icing that goes on top of the cake, Rabbit. Duvernay describes just who Naomi is. You ready? Here we go. So Naomi is pretty popular. Okay. Already you have a problem, right? She lives in the Pacific Northwest, of course she does, and this little town called Port Oswego, of course she does. She has a really cool crew of friends, of course she does. She's a snazzy dresser. Ooh. She loves comic books. Ooh. She's a fan. In fact, she really loves Superman comic books, the gay one, I'm sure. One day, something crazy happens in her town, and she finds out why she loves comic books so much and why she loves Superman specifically. And it's something that blows her mind. It is more seismic and cosmic than anyone can imagine.
She's
Okay.
Superman's love child.
Yes. Well, what we have here is the perfect creation of a Mary Sue. She does everything perfect. She is perfect in every way. Now, this is a good point to make because it's why everyone hates Ray. She doesn't have to try. Whereas Siri, that's it. Whereas Siri in The Witcher, which is bullshit because it's not The Witcher. The Witcher refers to the word. It's not a Witcher. It's The Witcher, of course.
Yeah.
But anyway, but Siri has to earn her shit.
Yes.
Right.
God, have you seen the second season when she's like getting bad?
Yeah, and it's bullshit that we don't have more Henry Cavill. But nevertheless.
Yeah,
that's how you
it's
do
not
that.
about him. If you read the books, it's not really about his character
actually,
anyway.
Dude. And it is about him way more.
It's
about him guiding Siri.
Yeah, but right. So you have to. It's not all his fault because he wants to do the next season 3 based closely on the books, as the last season wasn't, and the first season was quite close here and there. The second season they went out of the way, but he's going to bring it back for the next season. But they've got like 5 seasons. So
yeah,
I think you've got to think.
Well, they're going to have to pick up the pace
story.
Yeah, no, I'm willing to be patient, Rabbit. I'm willing to be patient because it's not bad.
I reckon. I really enjoyed it, and I know what you're saying. There was, the whole thing with Yennefer losing her magic, and that wasn't in the books either. That was silly, but they're just trying to write it as a screenplay as opposed to a book. I get it, but there was some good stuff in it. I love the stuff with the I forgot what it was called, the tree monster. That thing was fantastic. Oh, fine, but
dude, every time Henry Cavill's on screen is freaking epic.
Yeah.
Well, but I think the cast generally is good. even thought Vesemir was good. You know, I thought he was cast well.
Jeff is saying I'm feisty. I'm always feisty, baby. So this Naomi shit, it's so stupid. It's just another Mary Sue, and it's racist and bigoted and hateful and anti everything that's not
You know what?
this
Why did you
thing.
not see that it's racist when they're trying not to be racist? It's like they
Does-
go
They're not
hard
trying not
Does
racism
to be.
evil
instead.
know it's evil?
I guess not.
They're
Well,
not
maybe.
trying not to be. They're perfectly fine with the fact that they hate white people. They
Yeah,
have
they're
no
bigots.
qualms about it. Yeah.
Because they're special. They're
Yeah,
special.
see, they're allowed. They're the priest class. They're allowed.
Yeah, and they have so much given to them. They're so special. Now I'm curious, over in Britain, do you have the same kind of problem? Now, specific in America, it's the not all, but it's certainly a certain demographic of the black community that is so freaking special that they're elites and they're an absolute noisy pain in the ass. Do the black people in Britain have that same problem, or is it another group that has that problem? I mean, what's the deal over there?
Not from my experience. I mean, maybe in some places, not around
Okay.
where I am. Maybe in London, I don't know, but not from where I am.
Well, no, it's fair
No,
enough.
I
It's
mean,
just an American problem. Fair enough.
I mean, there's, I mean, I got this mate I used to be in a band with as a bassist. He lives, black guy, lives in like Snowton there. Well, he grew up in the ghetto, basically. He became a born again Christian, but he grew up in all that kind of like gangstery, kind of Nottingham gangstery stuff. It's still pretty sketchy. No, they're already sound.
Yeah. So it's an American issue.
They don't give a
That's fine.
shit. Yeah, it has to be. I mean, we get some of the woke shit coming out through the BBC. No one gives a shit. It's all stupid.
Yeah, it's like a
no one
joke.
says
Yeah.
it's stupid.
See,
That's the thing. Your country, it seems to take it more seriously. Like your universities and stuff, I always see stuff about it. It's like, what the fuck?
that's
are they
a
on about?
real center of cancer. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's like nuts. Like that's not like that over here.
Well, see, the thing is, this character of Naomi could be cool. It isn't inherently wrong.
It'll be
right?
written badly, you know.
But it won't be. So, Anyway, I'm getting tight on time, so let me move on to the next one here.
Henry Cavill rumored to be in deep negotiations for a new Superman movie. Good. Give it to him.
Good.
And for
fuck's
sake, keep hacks like Snyder away from it, and give me somebody like I'll still say the man who should be in charge. I'm gonna argue with you because I'm not. The man who should be in charge of the screenplay is the writer for My Hero Academia. That's who should be in charge of it. He should oversee it.
Yes, yeah, okay, yeah, he'd do a great job.
Yes, he would do a fantastic job because he understands what Superman is. And then give me a director with, you know who would actually, I think, do a great job of the iconic visuals that you need for a Superman? Snyder did okay, to be honest, in that regard.
Yeah, look,
but who do a great job with everything else?
It to where you wanted to eventually, but he was playing the long game on his story. That was the trouble.
He was.
I think who would be perfect for it is the guy who did the Dune movie, Villanueva. He could get that. He could get that epic
and it was
feeling.
Boring as fuck.
It's Dune. It is boring. It can get that epic feeling.
It's so dull. I almost turned it off.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you guys. Look at this thing from Eric here. Oh, speaking of being special, my wife was fired this week because she made someone feel uncomfortable by saying African American. Wow.
Isn't that a real thing?
What are you supposed to say? My Lord, Princess, Queen of the African continent who now resides in America and is 60% Caucasian?
When she left, she said, "Fuck off, you know, whatever." Was
right,
the first thing at the time, I would.
No, I
don't think Eric's wife is like me. I would have done that.
yeah, 100%.
Sorry to hear that, Eric. But
yeah, that sucks. That's bullshit.
Dude.
That's bullshit.
Well, if you're not supposed to say African American, what the hell are you supposed to say?
I don't know. I'm just gonna call them. You. Hey, you. You're just you from now on. But no, give me a director who can get scope and grandeur. And I think you can get, with the right script, you'll get a fantastic Superman movie.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, especially with Henry as Superman, because he is Superman. He's perfect for it.
Yeah. I loved him as Superman.
Well, now, the reason I put this up here is for this. I don't need to go deep into this really. These screen grabs pretty awful. Let's go with this old stuff. That was a great series. But this is the reason I put this up here because it's very clear that the Warner Brothers people don't want anything to do with the Snyderverse. It's very clear. The only reason they did the Snyder release was because AT&T made them, right? That
And
they
all
don't
the
want anything to
everyone
do with it. All right,
made
they
them a
want to
lot of
move.
money though, right?
Well, yes, but they don't care about money. We've made this very clear over the past couple of years. We've been reporting on this shit. They don't care about money. They care about
Mm,
agenda and their
Yeah.
revolutionary
so
vision, right?
isn't
Um,
yeah.
and until the money people come in and just smack them in the head, this will continue, right? Because these people are zealots. They are religious zealots, right? But here's the thing: we know what they want to do. They want to have all female. The Trinity has been replaced. We have gay, lesbian, female Superman, and we have gay, lesbian, black female Batwoman or Batgirl, whatever it is, and of course their Wonder Woman of Gal Gadot they seem to be fine with. That's what they want to do. They want to take the men completely out of it and just gay the hell out of it. That's what they want. It's very, very clear. This has been stated many times, and many
No one
leaks
will
have come
watch
out.
it.
No one will watch it, but that's what they want. See, but the thing is, Henry Cavill, who certainly has some push, he really
Mm.
wants to do this. It's very clear.
Yes.
He said this several
Yeah.
times over the past, well, how many years? Quite a way,
Years.
quite a while. But here's the thing I think that might push it over the top. Dwayne Johnson, who has
Yes.
absolute push, is saying,
Mm.
I want a showdown between Black Adam and Henry Cavill's Superman, specifically Henry Cavill's Superman.
Okay.
That might push it to happen. That might.
Allegedly, and this we don't know how true this is or not. It probably is. Cavill is their big hang up with Cavill is he always wants to be paid. But yeah, he wants to be paid. He's
Fine.
a big star. Pay him. Shut up and pay him. You got the money.
Yep.
Quit being cheap. You're gonna spend $300 million probably making this movie. You can't fit 50 of that, 20 of that, whatever he wants. Throw that to Henry. Come on.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
worth it. I guarantee you
Yeah,
he's worth
he
it.
is. Yeah, dude, that guy can act.
and he's a draw. But I think
Yes.
what you're going to see here, this is my guess. I think what you're going to see is in the movies, they're going to move forward with their agenda and they're going to throw stuff over on HBO Max, which of course Warner Brothers owns, or AT&T owns, I guess. And I think we well see some Henry Cavill Superman action and Dwayne Johnson showing up as Black Adam in some kind of HBO series. That's
I
probably
hope,
what'll happen.
I hope
Um,
not, because that'll just ruin everything, I suppose. Well, they've already ruined it for
they
me,
have,
but
yeah. But whatever. Okay, this one where this wonderful comic book where Superman is sexually frustrated. Of course he is. Of course he is. But whatever. I just thought it was an interesting tag because we're getting very, very conflicting reports coming out of Warner Brothers. Very conflicting.
No, I think the world needs Superman now more than ever. We
Yeah,
need it. We
I
need
agree.
our symbol of hope, and we need him properly done in a proper long film. And Cavill's the man for it. There's no one else in Hollywood right now who's the man for it. He was always the right choice. Snyder was great at casting, no doubt. He could cast, well, except for the Flash. But other than that,
oh god,
everything else was great.
I'll agree with you there because I hate that guy, the
No,
Flash.
And why
but
don't
when
they
it
just
comes
take
to
the
his,
guy out of the
He's
TV
shit.
series? I mean, you know.
I don't know. At least that guy gets the what's the word I'm looking for? The childlike wonder of Flash, right?
Yeah,
He gets what
he
a
does.
superhero should be to the audience. Uh, that other jerk off is just a jerk off. But Henry is the perfect Superman. He's Superman in real life. He genuinely is a good man from all accounts. Even people who don't like him will tell you he's a good man. And he keeps his head out. He keeps his nose out of trouble. Right? He doesn't cause any problems. He's a professional and super disciplined type guy, like militarily disciplined. One of the directors said it's insane. They've never seen anything like it. And he is, for all intents and purposes, the perfect actor for Superman, and he's British. That breaks my American heart, but it's the truth.
It is, yeah, it's true. We have a
Have
little
all the
bit of
best actors.
we have a little more information in this saga of the manscaping's wife. It says, "Yep, zero tolerance policy, no investigation, just termination. Stupid crap." She starts a new job on Wednesday already, though. Yeah, well,
Well,
there's
that's true.
jobs everywhere. And you get
Yeah,
paid high
like
way now.
it sounds like a blessing in disguise to me. If
Yeah, yeah, get away from
zero
this
tolerance
shit.
policies are stupid. in almost all. There's almost no exception to that stupidity, except for like child porn. But other than that, everything else. Whenever there's a zero tolerance policy, you're probably working for the wrong people.
Yeah.
Just let you know.
Yeah. And I don't know why you would bring your child porn to work anyway. That's
Yeah, they're
so
weird.
stupid.
Them people who are into that stuff. I'm just saying, they're weird.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've had a brush with that shit. God damn it, dude.
Yeah.
It's still skeevy, dude. It's still skeevy.
Yes.
God
Quite.
damn it. Anyway, do you guys have the word skeevy in Britain?
Yeah.
You do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's move on here. This is she just takes the wonderful cake. And go ahead and
Oh
read it.
boy. DC Comics writer Vita, I'm not even going to try that, exposes her bigotry, says no cis dudes should apply for associate editor position at Marvel. I like how they've otherized just being normal. Right? They come up with this term cis.
Yeah.
What the fuck does cis mean?
It just means normal.
What the fuck does that even mean?
That's it. It means you are the gender you were assigned. That's the word they use.
Sorry,
assigned.
I'm a normal human being.
Yes. Well, once again, we've seen this shit for years now, and no big deal. I put this in here because I want you to see the evolution of the Twitter response from this unsuccessful absolute hack of a human being, right? Because it's not like she has any success. Well, I'm sure she wants to be called he or them or Zed or something like that, but whatever. She has no success whatsoever. She shouldn't be a writer because she hasn't earned it. But yet, she has an opinion. But the reason I put it in here is because I want to read these tweets because it's impressive, dude. Nubia, the new Wonder Woman, by the way. This is the better Wonder Woman, just so you know. Anyway, where's the tweets here? Let's watch this evolution. Okay.
Yeah.
Black and brown people, especially femme people, please apply. Because what's happening here is over at DC. Oh no, this is Marvel. She's working with Marvel for this. They need an associate editor to kind of run their public relations on their Marvel.com. Right? They need someone to a pop culture expert to just kind of manage the site and someone who's knowledgeable and expertise in Marvel history, lore, characters, and in general pop culture as well. That's what they're looking for. Okay, this is what this is all about. So she's basically, promoting the idea that she has no power, but she's saying that she would rather have black or brown people please get out there and apply. It is a racist tweet, but there's nothing inherently wrong with this particular comment. She just would rather have. Okay, fine. Well, let's move on. All right. The fact that people are angry that I tweeted that black and brown people should apply and call it racism is funny and sad at the same time. I hope they figure themselves out sometime soon because they are only telling on themselves with that nonsense. Now, it is a racist statement, but I kind of get your take on that because it wasn't that direct, but it gets better. Black and brown people, queer people, people that are not cis dudes, and any combo of the above. If you are even a little curious about being an associate editor for Marvel, click through apply, you are needed. Okay. Well, she's getting more definite here, isn't she? All right. Bigots loathe the idea of black and brown people, do we? Queer people, non-cis dude people, and any intersection of the above apply for this job. They extra, whatever that means, despise that okay, now this is the cool thing, an Afro, Puerto Rican, trans, non-binary person.
Not a real thing. It's just made up words.
I guess it is. Okay, how are you trans? What have you had cut off?
Exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, so many of them call themselves trans without any surgery.
How can you be trans? Wait, how can you be trans and non-binary at the same time?
I know.
Those preclude each other.
What non-binary means. It's the stupidest fucking word I've ever heard.
It is dumb.
Sorry, it pisses me off every time I hear it.
Well, it is, and it's specifically dumb because you can't be transitioning from one gender to another gender and also be non-binary. You can't. Choose one.
There's only two, and you can have sex with whoever you want. It's stupid. It pisses me off.
So she's trolling. Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I agree, Joshua. She is trolling. I just love the evolution of the troll, though. That's why it's up here. I think it's hilarious. I mean, look what we went from. I mean, it's kind of a standard 2022, to 2020s. Let's just call it that. Light racism just casually being thrown out. Black and brown people, especially femme people, whatever the hell that is supposed to mean, please apply. Okay, all right. It is a racially based comment, but it's not that inflammatory. It pissed a lot of people off, and they came at her because of her intention. I get it, but it just evolved and it evolved, and then it ends with they extra despise. Okay. The Afro Puerto Rican trans non-binary peoples who work in the industry. Okay. Alrighty then. And like I said, you're clearly a chick. I would never be confused that you're not a girl. I mean, you're tomboyish, but you're not trans, and you're certainly not non-binary. But of course, it's the point that they don't know what these words mean. They just keep throwing them out, right?
I don't know
I
what
don't think
half
they
these
mean
words
anything.
fucking mean, to be honest
To
with
be
you.
honest. Yeah, it's these people are. Let's be honest. A lot of them are communists, so that makes them not people.
Fair enough.
Like it.
I just can't. I can't. They're just trash.
Yeah.
And somehow they've taken over these cultural institutions in a way. It's amazing. Actually, it's impressive. In fact, to how they've infiltrated and taken over these cultural institutions en masse. But they have, and I just.
Well, to add a little bit to this story, the post has been taken down by Marvel, which means they filled the position. And honestly, there's no need for her to have said that anyway, because Sana Amanat is the one in charge anyhow. She's not going to hire a white dude for that position. I mean, she's not.
Yeah.
So I mean, you didn't have to say that. It was already going to happen. But it is interesting when we have these kind of comments coming out. Now, she's not an employer, so I guess it's safe. But we've had various lawsuits that are going to be coming out and being won because we've had many people coming out who are in hiring positions saying that they're not hiring no damn white people. It's illegal, guys. We have
Yeah.
laws against such things.
Thanks. I'm going to apply and sue the shit out of you. Thank you, you idiot.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Now, listen, personally, I disagree with those laws, but I only disagree with them if it's an even playing field and we just get rid of all of them and just let people make their own decisions. But if the rule is you can't discriminate based on race, okay, that goes every direction. That doesn't just go one direction, that goes every direction. If you want the rule to be you can discriminate based on race, I'm okay with that too. I don't really want to work with somebody who hates me. Just call me crazy. I don't really think it's actual integration if you're forcing it. That's not integration at all. It's forced. You're making people be together. But most of the time, most of these companies, what ended up happening, and what did happen until very recently, they just hire whoever they think's the best person. And if there's a disparity, that's not the company's fault. We're blaming the wrong people.
I just got hit by a big earthquake.
Oh, shit. A big one?
Yeah, but it was short, luckily. But all my drawers were open, and my dog's walking around looking for his tail.
Aw, poor pupper. House didn't fall down, though. That's what matters.
Well, yeah, but of course, when Japan builds things for earthquakes, but I have to wait here a minute and see if it pops again, because the first one isn't usually the problem. It's the second or even the third one that could be bad. But it happens.
Good. Well, the internet didn't come out, so.
No, it was too short. But it was a big pop, though. It made things jump in the room. So anyway, that's normal. Oh God, I'm so tight on time. Let's see. I'm going to do the last story, but this right here, Spider-Man: No Way Home cut American Chavez. Good. Because the modern American Chavez is stupid. It's dumb. They should go back to the original. Hopefully they will. But anyway, moving on here. This is freaking awesome.
Bill Murray confers villain role in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Bill Murray as a bad guy in the Ant-Man movie. Thank you, please.
Okay. I love Bill Murray, but Ant-Man's... Nah.
Well, Ant-Man
I love the actor, but
Ant-Man is a comedy. Let's keep this in mind. The Ant-Man series.
The first one was quite fun, right? But the second one was terrible.
Well, that's because it should have been called The Wasp. It wasn't
Yeah,
Ant-Man, you know,
probably.
and it's dumb. I don't
Paul
know why.
Rudd, I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Rudd was great, and Paul Rudd, Bill Murray, obviously Ghostbusters, all that. I mean, that was good as well. But
it was. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the
and
first
I
one
don't
was
know,
great fun. It was comedic. It was hilarious. I loved it.
it was.
It was fun. And with Bill Murray being the bad guy, it makes me feel like they're going back to the first Ant-Man, and it's going to be the comedy that it should be. Um,
I hope Bill Murray plays it like
Bill
himself.
Murray,
And
yeah.
I can't. That sounds good. Actually, that does
Yeah.
sound good.
So I'm excited now. They don't give us any information here really. The headline's all you need. But yeah, Bill Murray playing a villain, maybe the villain in Ant-Man. That is freaking awesome, dude.
He needs to become the villain in Marvel. That'd be even better.
Yeah, yeah,
He could
yeah,
become the next fucking Thanos. That'd be great.
yeah. Now I know a lot of people consider Ant-Man to be one of their least favorite of the Marvel movies, but I don't agree at all. The second one, okay,
um,
fine, but the first one's great, dude.
it was all right. My least favorite one was probably the second Avengers movie, The Age of Ultron or whatever. That was fucking terrible.
Eh, Endgame was
That was
worse.
Whedon though,
Black
wasn't it?
Panther
Wasn't that
was
Whedon?
worse.
No, Black Panther was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
That was just a dull movie. Whereas The Age of Ultron was just a really badly written movie. You know what I mean? I don't know. They were both bad movies, regardless. But I mean, I'm not a massive fan of all those. But I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. Right, the first movie was great. The second movie had so much potential with Kurt Russell. It was terrible.
Nah, nah. I
They
thought
just
it
kind of
was
like
fine.
squandered Kurt Russell. It was
Well,
yeah, but that was it. It was just fine, but it shouldn't have just been fine with that cast. It should have been fantastic.
I think it's kind of tough for what they wanted to do with Kurt Russell, juxtaposed to, Gunn's comedic Guardians. I think that was the issue. But I liked it overall. I thought it was fine. The
I
first
didn't
one was
like it. I
better.
mean, to be fair, I didn't think the Thor movies were that good either. So.
No, the Thor movies were not. Have we lost Thundero? Does he not have an opinion on Bill Murray?
No,
Freaking Bill Murray being an Ant-Man?
I'm
We'll
wondering if
see. We'll
Fundari.
see what happens with it. Bill Murray is great, but he has this issue that he's Bill Murray,
Yeah, that's true.
and his ego gets in his way sometimes.
He's done some
Love
good
you, honey.
movies, so.
So we'll see if he let's just see what he's doing, because we don't even, as far I don't know anything about what this movie is going to be about. It's obviously has something to do with the quantum realm, but other than that, nothing. Right?
It'd be great if he just
So
came for his Venkman.
we will see. We will see.
So he can shot the fucker. Yeah, it'd be so good. I'd love that.
Well,
That's not gonna
it would
happen.
be neat if they were bringing in Annihilation, but of course I don't think that's what they're doing. But because the one big problem right now, well, there are several problems, but the big thing with the Marvel movies in general right now is they're so locked in that they must tie into everything else. They can't be a one-off.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I suppose that's true. Yeah. I mean, did you watch the Hawkeye series?
Thank God, no.
You know what? It wasn't actually that. It was enjoyable. I wouldn't say it was great,
But it
and I don't
wasn't
know the
Hawkeye,
story.
was it?
It was Renner. He was good in it.
Yeah, and he got his
It
ass
was
kicked by every female that's possible, even though we know he's a badass.
no,
He was
he actually
sidelined,
kicked the
dude.
shit. No, he kicked the shit out of a lot of people. If you actually watch it, he's actually really good in it. The chick's in it quite a lot, but she gets her ass kicked more than that. He's more like he's like the. You'd have to watch it, I suppose. If you
Yeah,
watch
that's
it,
true.
it
I
wasn't
haven't
as
seen
bad
it.
as you think it was. It's not as bad as some stuff they've done. Definitely. I mean, I didn't even watch the Wonder thing. That didn't interest me, and I don't know what the other one was before that. But Hawkeye was good because Renner was good in it. He was the main guy. I thought he was going to be sidelined, but he was actually the main character in it.
Oh, that's
And
fine.
he
I haven't
helped.
watched it, so I
He
don't really
helped
know.
her out. He was more like a mentor through it.
Yeah,
You know what
but
I mean?
why? Why in the hell
Well,
is Kate Bishop even there? What's the point of Kate Bishop?
I mean, in the story aspect of the series, it makes sense, but I don't know in the respect of the comics and the main stories. So,
Yeah. Well, that's true.
I
I
mean, in
haven't
the
seen it.
series, it was fun. It was good. It was a good Christmas, 6 episodes or however many it was. It wasn't. It's not a long series, so.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It's even
I don't
got
know if I can take a bite out of it though. This new Marvel, I'm just not interested anymore, dude. I mean,
Well, I just enjoyed it because it was something to watch, but it
well,
wasn't bad. I
I
wouldn't
get
say
you,
it
but
was overly woke or anything like that. It was just fun.
WandaVision, complete missed opportunity. Loki,
Yeah,
absolute
that wasn't
bullshit,
that great. Yeah, I
disrespect
didn't
for
enjoy that.
your best villain. You know, the Winter Soldier and the Captain America,
The
whatever the
other
fuck
guy.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
complete
yeah,
political,
I
you
didn't understand.
bad white people. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah. No,
Everything
I
has been
see.
bullshit, dude.
Hawkeye wasn't like that. It was just like a Christmas series, like a mini series about Christmas with people shooting arrows at people. You know what I mean? It was more lighthearted.
Dude, I've watched his character in the other movies walking through people, walking through them easily. And some
Yeah.
one leg, literally she's missing her fucking leg, kicks his ass. Are you kidding me?
Oh, he does defeat her actually, but I mean,
Yeah,
there's more to the story
ultimately.
than that.
But in the end, she's a heartwarming good person and she gets away with her boyfriend.
So what happens?
That is what happens, yeah.
Oh my
But
god.
I'm just saying
Didn't care about their
it's kind
characters.
of dumb, dude. He should be able to walk
Yeah,
through
but
them.
he should be able to. But let's be honest, there won't be much of a series at that point with the fun. I think them trying to make that he's old and he's a real person, so he's fucking full of damage because he's not a superhero. You know what I mean? He's old, he's deaf, he's got fucking knee problems and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, and I get
Which
that.
would
That's
happen.
fine. And
So I
because they
mean, I
want
think
a
that's what they were
retired
getting at.
grandpa. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I think that's what they're aiming at. But I mean, the thing is, they didn't, and by the end of it, he was still gnarly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But to be
I mean,
fair, I haven't watched it. My
I'm not
information
saying it
is
was
mainly
great.
coming out of Critical Drinker. That's fair.
I mean, you know, well, that's the thing. Don't listen to YouTubers. Watch it yourself and then make your
Yeah,
opinion.
fair
Because
enough.
I've learned that mistake myself. Because I've heard people say this and that is that, and then I've watched them and actually it's not that bad. You're fucking just trying to get views on YouTube.
Well, the problem is
Sometimes you're all right though.
no,
Sometimes you're all right. Sometimes they're
I
not.
get it, but the problem was I did watch WandaVision. It was dumb, and of course, it turned out to be wasted effort. I did
I didn't
start
watch it,
watching
but
Loki stuff, and it was insulting. I did
I
watch
watched it and
the
that was
Winter
terrible.
Soldier and what the ever other character that was in there with him, the Falcon, and it was insulting. So I just kind of got to the point that I'm like, fuck it.
I get it. You've just had enough of it. That's fair enough. I get that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Good for anime.
Anyway,
That's what I was
that's right.
saying.
Yeah, just watch some more anime. Yeah, but that's the sad thing though, because I don't want it to suck.
No,
I
no,
don't.
I
I
get that.
want it to be fun. And hopefully we'll see some gems here or there. Maybe a Hawkeye has some good moments in it. But the problem is they keep putting us back off, and the more news we read, the more we see, the more we keep getting put back off. But you know, whatever. Bill Murray being the villain in Ant-Man could be epically
Yeah.
awesome. It could be.
I will
Uh,
watch it purely for Bill Murray.
Exactly. And Joshua said, "Will Bill Murray be Kang the Conqueror?" Dude, that would be awesome. And keep in mind, we know that's what they're doing with Phase 4 or 5 here. We also see the comic books are pushing it too. They are bringing, I guess they own Mr. Miracle now. They're bringing Mr. Miracle in, and of course they're going to do, the Kill Captain America series with it. So they're going to kill Captain America off in the comic books, and they're doing the Kang the Conqueror stuff in the comics right now. So of course that's leaning toward the rumors we're hearing that Kang's the big bad. So you know, and Ant-Man would tie into that because Ant-Man is a dude that can, you know, and Doctor Strange is the only two that can move transdimensionally, right?
I thought
So,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was like the toughest guy in Marvel, to be honest with you. He
well,
seems like it.
they underpowered him incredibly for the movies. I kind of get why they did it, but I mean, they dumbed him down ridiculously, dude. Yeah, because Doctor Strange in the comic books, he's not an active hero. He is the set piece, the background, the Uatu, the Watcher that gets you there because his power is
Mm,
ridiculous. It's like
yeah.
Superman. What do you do with him? He's not going to be able to help Batman. I mean, because you
That's why
don't
they
need
have
Batman.
kryptonite, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the problem. Yeah,
Yeah, I get it. I do. Yeah.
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 Well, that's why you should definitely watch No Way Home because that's exactly what Doctor Strange is in that movie.
As he should
That's
be.
why.
That's what he should
Yeah,
be.
that's true. Yeah, that is true. It's like that's why when you're watching Dragon Ball Z, Goku's overpowered. He's always like injured or in a tank until the end, because otherwise he'd be over in a second.
Yeah,
And the same
and
with
that is the
Superman.
problem with these
It's all the
powerful
same thing.
characters,
Yeah.
right? unless you
Yeah.
take a completely satirical take on it, like with One Punch Man, or sorry, One Punch Man,
Yeah.
and that's
Oh, come on.
Which is just great Wampa Man. I love
Wampa Man.
that. I don't
Well,
know
his
why
name
I
is
want to watch
Wampa Man.
Wampa
That's his
Man.
name. He's not One
Yeah,
Punch Man.
I
He's
know,
Wampa
but it's the way you said it.
Man. Sorry. I try. My wife
Wampa
actually, she
Man.
sits.
Look at the
Sometimes she's
Star
in the
Wars
room when I
thing.
do these shows, and I don't realize it. But she says, you use a lot of Japanese on your show. I'm like, do I? I guess I do.
You sometimes you do. I mean, I notice small phrases you say. I understand because I watch a lot of Japanese stuff. But sometimes you go into full Japanese.
Do I?
Not
Damn it.
often, but you have sometimes.
Huh.
He's
I don't
gone
Unless
know.
you
native.
I guess I
haven't.
just don't
On
realize it.
On D and Q, you do. I think more than anything. But I think it depends what you're talking about. If we start
Yeah.
talking about Japanese things, you start reading off stuff.
Well, to be fair, there are comments in other, or there are, expressions in other languages that are more convenient than the English one.
Hmm.
They're just more
I get it.
natural and comfortable to use. Like desho, don't you think, or don't you agree? But desho is so easy to just throw it out, right? And I'm sure I say that mistake a lot. I'm sure I say that all the time. There's just certain expressions that are more convenient than the English. That's all.
Oh,
Anyway.
I've got no problem with it. But yeah.
Anyway is right.
Anyway, I definitely got to go, dudes. I'm running late. So, Thundero, well, first of all, Rabbit, closing comments, please.
But I have none. I'm drunk. It
All right.
was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Oh, that's good. And I think well, we're maybe doing Spider-Man this week.
We'll feel it out. We're either getting Spider-Man, Dark Souls, or Ghost in the Shell. They're the three choices.
Okay, well, one of those. But definitely come back for that. Keep in mind that tomorrow we do. I think we have something on Bugbear's basement. I know we need to work out what we're going to do over there. We're kind of in that middle period where we're trying to figure it out, but we definitely want to do something. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But anyway, Thundero, take us out of here, man.
Very simple little thing from the founder of Visa Incorporated. And I think it's I like it. All too often, university degrees do no more than make ignorance proud.
I have many degrees,
Yeah, and you're very proud, you ignorant son. No.
I only have one. I'm not so proud.
Namaste.
I have 0.
Later.